Good morning, everybody. It's Mrs. Ellswick, and today, when you learn about the Mayans, you'll be learning about what the Mayan writing system was like. Take a look at this article. It's called Mayan Writing, and the Mayans had a system of writing which was really unique. It was the most advanced type of writing in the ancient Americans. They may have borrowed the idea of picture writing from a group of people that lived before them called the Olmecs. Then they made their own system of writing based on that. The Mayas did not use an alphabet. In an alphabet, we know that each letter or character stands for a letter. Instead, they used a mix of pictures to represent ideas and symbols to represent sounds. The pictures and the symbols used in their writing are called glyphs. The Mayans combined glyphs into groups. These groupings have a square or an oval shape. We know that there are about 800 different Mayan glyphs. Scientists study Mayan writing in the few Mayan books that still exist. There are also examples of Mayan writing carved on stones, and many of these stones are from ancient Mayan buildings. Scientists know the meaning of some of the Mayan symbols, but much of the Mayan writing system, it's still a mystery. So far, we know the meaning of just a fewer than half of all of the glyphs discovered. Here are some examples of Mayan glyphs: symbols for fish, vultures, dog, wife, and of course, death. The Mayas had a really cool process for making paper. What they did was use fibers from the bark of a ficus tree. They pounded the fibers into pulp. Then they glued the pulp together with tree sap.
Yeah, so have you ever made paper?
No, never.
Oh, well, just, you must make some sheets of paper.
I would love to.
Take a few sheets and do something with them on your own.
I would love to.
Being an artist like you are.
My friend Mark Callahan makes hoon paper, which is made from plants. He lives in the Yucatan Peninsula, and his paper is absolutely amazing. And their paper combines the Oriental and the ancient Maya techniques.
This is the recycled pulp that we use for paper making. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's made from the Sansevieria plant. It has to be absolutely renewable in its resource, paper. I mean, from the plant. And it can't damage nature. So those are the requirements for making our paper. Now there's a vertical and horizontal movement when you make handmade paper. It's really important to interlock the fine fibers so that it has a strength going in both directions.
Mark has been living in the Yucatan Peninsula, studying and learning the ancient ways of the Mayan paper making for many years, has changed his life and studied and used different materials from all over the peninsula. And his handmade paper is used in so many different ways.
There's cross-hatching design here. And this is cross-hatching with a little hole in the center, like a pineapple. This is the other one that has a very, very fine, straight-lined, parallel shape with grooves. And the other side has other deeper grooves. I filled it in with wax because we make molds from these to reproduce this in cement. And this side has to be flat for some of our models because sometimes we take the texture off of the flat stone later. So, yeah. Try this one out.
When the paper dried, then they would coat it with white lime. This made a smooth white surface on which to which to paint. The Mayans also made books. The name for a Mayan book is called a codex. Mayas used ficus fiber paper or deer hide for pages. The pages of Mayan books folded from side to side. They unfolded like a screen. The Mayas painted colorful glyphs and pictures of gods, animals, and objects on pages of the codex. The Mayas used decorated boards for covers. Spanish conquerors who came to the New World found many Mayan books. However, the Spanish believed the Mayan books were evil. The conquerors destroyed most of them. Only 3 complete Mayan books survive today. They are now located in museums 2,000 miles away in Europe. Only parts of other Mayan books remain. Feel free to watch the rest of the video to see how Mark makes paper. I also have some other videos about glyphs for you to watch.
What looks at first
I have a
glance
stopping
like
point
ancient
right
art
here.
is actually a full-blown written language. But what does this homegrown Mesoamerican script teach us about the history of writing?
A Maya stoneworker etches elaborate rows of characters onto a stela, a tall stone brought in from far away that's now standing straight up in the middle of the city. The characters he's carving look more like detailed pictures than writing, but don't let that fool you. Take a look at this block. It means mountain, but it's not a logograph standing for mountain. It's not a rebus symbol for think of a word that rhymes with schmountain. It's actually a block of 2 sound symbols that spell the word wheats.
So you get the idea of that. You can finish watching the video. I have a little stopping point. You don't need to watch the full 5 minutes. There's also this video here, what's very interesting about breaking the Maya code.
In the jungles of southern Mexico and Central America, the ancient Maya created one of humanity's great civilizations, with stunning achievements in mathematics, astronomy, and art. Their cities were rich with stone inscriptions, grids of fantastic and twisting forms called hieroglyphs, or simply glyphs. There were hundreds of different glyphs, filled with abstract forms, monsters and animals, plants and body parts. They were carved on public monuments and on personal objects of shell, bone, and jade, painted on pottery and the walls of buildings, and written in thousands of bark paper screen-full books. But when European explorers discovered these inscriptions, no one on Earth could read them. What messages did they conceal? Who had made them? Were they pictures and symbols? Or were they true writing, standing for the sounds of a spoken language? For the past 200 years, men and women have struggled to answer these questions.
And I'll let you continue to watch that video as well. It's pretty interesting. And then when you get to this particular slide here, you'll be heading over to a Gelastic to answer all of the questions. Make sure that you're going back and forth into the passage to match your words properly and complete the multiple choice. Thanks, guys, for tuning in and learning a little bit about Mayan writing.